Continue working on your scene from the last movie, or use the scene named CP09 Bridge End Caps.max. Consider the sloped surfaces around the bridge ends. Select one and isolate it. It is only displayed from top. The surface doesn't wrap into an enclosed poly object. It's missing caps at the bottom, on the left, and most importantly on the right side. The bottom and left areas matter less in the context of the scene, but the right side leaves a big hole that needs to be addressed. There are various ways you could tackle this. Potentially, you can start with a simple box and poly model it into the shape you need. Personally, I always try to use existing geometry as a base. With the surface selected, apply an Edit Poly modifier. This is just temporary, so you can extract the data that you need. At this point, you may want to activate Etched Faces mode, F4, to see the geometry better. You can always toggle it off when you're done. Enter Edge mode and select these two ground edges at the right end of the model. Bridge the two edges to create a horizontal surface between them. This is so you can use the border tool to select the right perimeter, the area you're really interested in. Once it is selected, then you can simply use the cap method to create a surface to fill the hole. In Poly mode, select the new surface, and then click the small button next to Detach. A dialog appears. Name the new object Bridge End West Wall, and make sure all options are disabled. Click OK to extract the geometry from the current object to a new one. The new object will be your base to build a wall. In fact, you can delete the Edit Poly modifier from the original surface. This takes it back to its original state. Now you have a new independent surface that you can adjust to your liking. Make sure the new surface is selected, and note that its pivot point is a bit off because it is based on the original surface. In the Hierarchy panel, you can recenter it using Effect Pivot Only, then Center to Object. If you look at it from top, the pivot point is not oriented with the normal of the surface. Instead of fiddling with rotation angle values, here's a quick way to align the pivot point to the normal of the surface. Create a temporary box using Auto Grid mode and align it to the surface. Go back to the Hierarchy panel and in Effect Pivot Only mode, verify that the new box has the orientation you need. Select your surface again, and still in Effect Pivot Only mode, use the Align tool to align the XYZ rotations of the surface to the box. You don't need to align the positions, just the XYZ rotations, pivot to pivot. Once that is done, you can exit Effect Pivot Only mode and delete the temporary box. To give the surface a bit of depth, go to the Modify panel and enter Polygon Mode. Make sure the polygon that makes the surface is selected and extrude it a bit. Have a little fun with it. Perhaps move that bottom edge further out to make a thicker base. For that, you'll need to set the coordinate system to Parent so that the edge conforms to the orientation of the new wall. Similarly, you may consider a slight relative X displacement of the sloped polygons so that they are not flush with the grassy part. In fact, take a look from the other side, the left side. Because of how it was built, the new wall is not capped from the left. This means you would have to select that border again and cap it as you have done before. The geometry is pretty much in place, but you need to adjust the mapping. There are currently pixel streaks everywhere. Apply a UVW map modifier in box mode and disable real-world map size. Adjust the gizmo size to values that work better. Try 40 by 40 by 40. Ultimately, you may also consider a different material for the wall. Perhaps use the same material you created for the pillars. For that, you'll need to temporarily exit Isolate mode so that you can see the pillars, and go to the material editor and sample their material so that you can use it on other objects. Once that is done, you can concentrate on the wall again and apply the new material to it. When you're satisfied with the results, you can collapse the object down to an editable poly again. Exit Isolate mode and take a look at the scene. You can also exit Edged Faces mode if you want to, F4. You may notice some flicker where the top of the wall meets the bridge surface. In that case, you may consider bringing some of these top polygons down a notch. Simply isolate the wall again and make the necessary adjustments. You only need to bring the selected polygons down about 5 centimeters. Once you have exited Isolate mode, verify no more flicker is taking place. Test render the scene, and verify there are no more gaps under the bridge, not on this shore anyway. You still need to repeat the procedure on the other side of the bridge. It is exactly the same procedure, so consider it your homework. In the next movie, you go back to experimenting in civil view by adding buildings in the background.